As China's world influence expands, its navy aims to reach a global superpower with large investments in weapons tech and military aircraft. As research and development process is too expensive and time-consuming, China skips it and simply turns to other countries for inspiration by buying or stealing foreign military technology. Some say it's a strategic weakness, but dig deeper into Chinese stolen fighter jets that frighten adversaries. Number 1. CHENGDU J-10 and US F-16. In the 1980s, the US partnered with Israel to develop a new combat aircraft based on the General Dynamics F-16, but as costs rose, the US pulled out of the deal, leaving Israel's Lavi fighter unfinished. Years later, American officials discovered that Israel sold the Lavi's development plans to China, granting them unprecedented access to technologies first developed for the F-16. The J-10 shared more than a striking visual resemblance with the F-16, one of the leading US fighter jets in service today in 25 countries. The technology sourced through Israel allowed China to significantly advance the aircraft with the increased use of the composite materials to reduce weight and advanced fire control radar array. The radar can track 10 targets, 4 of which can be engaged simultaneously with active radar homing missiles or 2 with semi-active. These and a number of other domestically developed updates aim to keep the J-10 capable for decades to come. Number 2. SHENYANG J-15 and Russian Sukhoi Su-33. China's J-15 serves as their primary carrier-based aircraft, produced by simply purchasing the production line for the Su-33. When the Soviets refused to part with their Su-33 design secrets, China bought a Su-33 prototype aircraft from Ukraine, dubbed the T-10K3, and quickly set about reverse engineering it. The result is a carrier-based fighter that shares the Su-33's folding wing design and overall appearance, coupled with a few Chinese improvements, like incorporating more composite materials to reduce overall weight. Those weight-saving tricks translate into major improvements in agility and range. Technically speaking, the J-15 could be considered the superior fighter to America's long-serving intercept fighter like the F-15. With a faster top speed, greater maximum G-load, and slightly higher operational ceiling, China has been happy to contend that a dogfight between the two jets would undoubtedly result in a Chinese victory. But the J-15 is severely hindered by its launch apparatus. China's dated Liaoning carrier's inferior catapult and ramp system to launch fighters severely limits the maximum operational weight of the J-15, reducing the total ordnance it can take into a fight. New carriers under development promise to offer an electromagnetic catapult similar to those used on America's new Ford-class carriers. Number 3. CHENGDU J-20 and US F-22 Raptor. The J-20, China's first fifth-generation fighter, entered service in 2017 and was purpose-built not only to serve as a competitor for America's F-22 Raptor, but in many ways as a direct copy. Plans for the Lockheed Martin design were stolen by a Chinese national named Su Bin, who was sentenced to 46 months in federal prison for his crime. The CHENGDU J-20 twin, afterburning turbofan engines and supersonic inlet (DSI), enables an aircraft to reach Mach 2.0 with a simpler intake than traditionally required. Aside from the obvious addition of forward canards on the J-20, the two aircraft look nearly identical thanks to China's access to classified F-22 development data. Because China lacks extensive background in stealth technology, it's widely believed that the J-20's stealthy design is limited by their inferior radar-absorbing coating, production materials, and even those telltale canards. American defense experts have said that China's J-20 will have a far larger radar signature than the F-22, but other variables may ultimately render any American advantages moot. The US canceled the F-22 program in 2011, with fewer than 200 built. On the other hand, China will continue to produce J-20s in large quantities for years to come. The J-20 can carry up to 6 air-to-air missiles and longer-range missiles, including the LS-6 precision-guided bomb. However, China has also developed a PL-15 missile believed to match or exceed the range of even the latest US AIM-120D BVR missiles. The PL-15's dual-pulse motor also allows a lethal second burst of speed as it's close with its target. By contrast, targeting pod support or organic electro-optical targeting systems reportedly feature in later Chinese jets, including the J-10, J-16, and the J-20 stealth fighter. Number 4. Shenyang J-31 and the US F-35. Like the F-22, Lockheed Martin's F-35 Joint Strike Fighter was also compromised by Su Bin, leading to China's J-31 program. Still under development, this jet possesses a greater operational range and larger payload capacity than the F-35 it was based on. There is an expectation that the J-31 will become China's primary carrier-based fighter once it reaches full production, replacing the J-15. Like the J-20 program, the J-31 is limited by China's inexperience with stealth aircraft. Aesthetically, the J-31 seems to borrow heavily from both the F-35 and F-22 programs, suggesting that it may be lighter and more maneuverable than America's top-tier fighter. But it lacks some degree of the F-35's stealth characteristics and the American jet's real claim to fame, a sensor suite that offers the pilot greater awareness of the battle space. Moreover, thanks to active electronically scanned arrays, or ASEA, radars, the F-35 is much harder to detect. This radar has greater range, higher resolution, and better capability to maintain multiple tracks than its predecessors. In many ways, the F-35 serves not only as a fighter, but as a data hub. There is no indication that China's J-31 has been able to fuse such a large variety of feeds into a singular, manageable interface. Number 5. Shenyang J-11-16 and Russian Sukhoi Su-27. As the Soviet Union neared collapse in 1989, China seized the opportunity to secure the production line for the Sukhoi Su-27, improving upon the design to develop what would become the J-11, aimed to counter American jets like the T-14 Tomcat. Unlike other fighters China employed at the time, the Su-27 brought advanced avionics systems and fly-by-wire technology that China could incorporate into later platforms. In 2000, Russia sold China several advancements they'd made to their own Su-27 platform. China's subsequent effort to include them alongside domestically developed technologies has since resulted in the J-16, a modified and updated Su-27. The J-16 is a Chinese twin-engine, tandem-seat, all-weather, multi-role strike fighter. China's multi-role fighter jet, the J-16, has a coating that gives the warplane a certain stealth capability, making it nearly invisible to the naked eye and electromagnetic devices. It is also revealed that all types of Chinese air-to-surface weapons currently in service with the PLA can be installed on the J-16, even the most advanced PL-15, which is an active radar-guided long air-to-air missile with a range of over 150 kilometers and a speed of Mach 4. Number 6. FC-1 XIAOLONG and Soviet MiG-21. China's love affair with Russian fighters doesn't only include Sukhoi designs. In the 1960s, China purchased production plans for the Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-21, modified and updated into China's J-7 platform. Since then, the J-7 has become the basis for a new joint venture with Pakistan that aimed to field a new fighter that could compete with a different MiG, the newer Soviet MiG-29. Thanks to China's access to F-16 design specs through Israel's Lavi program, that joint venture resulted in an amalgamation of F-16 and MiG-21 characteristics, creating an aircraft that some contend is greater than the sum of its parts. Elements of both aircraft can be seen in the FC-1, the JF-17 in Pakistan, with the F-16's nose and tail joined by a distinctly MiG-21 wing design. This plane continues to fly today and is by many accounts a fighter that can stand toe-to-toe with jets designed decades after it first flew. The newest iterations of the JF-17 now include air-to-air refueling capabilities, greater use of composite materials to reduce weight, and fly-by-wire technology, first procured through a different Soviet purchase. Number 7. CASC Kaihong 4 and US MQ-9 Reaper. While there is no definitive publicly available evidence to support America's claim that China's Kaihong 4 (CH-4) armed drone is based on stolen plans for the General Atomics MQ-9 Reaper, seeing is believing. The resemblance is striking, but similarities are only skin deep. Despite clearly being modeled after the American UAV, the CH-4 boasted fewer outboard stations for mounted ordnance, while delivering comparable flight characteristics and duration, suggesting that its propulsion system is not as capable as those fielded on the Reaper. However, China promptly set about working to match the Reaper's capability within their own drone program, leading to newer and more robust CH-5, which is an updated version of their first attempt at copying the American platform. Furthermore, China is developing and exporting a diverse array of precision-guided missiles and bombs, many of which are available in a scaled-down form to deploy combat drones. And that's all the time we have for today's video. Please give this video a like if you learned something new, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss another video from Front Cost. We'll see you next time.